Over the weekend, I was fortunate enough to actually attend Crypto Convention in Australia. It was the largest one with over 5,000 people. In this video, I'm going to share with you my learnings from not just the convention, but what we could expect to see in this space, not just in relation to crypto, but also how that's going to affect the tokenization of real estate. If you are interested, keep watching. Hey guys, my name's Ravi and welcome back to Personal Finance with Ravi Sharma. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button because I talk about real estate, cryptocurrency, and financial freedom. Now, over the weekend, I was fortunate enough to actually attend the crypto convention that was held on the Gold Coast. Now, thanks to my partnership with Binance, they were able to fly me and my partner out all the way to Gold Coast to attend the 2-day conference. In addition to that, there were plenty of networking opportunities. There was an after party. It was pretty sick. But what I really wanted to achieve from actually attending was to be able to take some of those learnings, share that with you guys at scale, so you guys are aware of what is actually happening with some of the smartest minds out there in Australia. Now, plenty of you guys are already tuning out because it's crypto related and you just want to know about real estate. But that's where I want you to stay tuned, because I spoke to someone there that was talking about the tokenization of real estate and how that can blend in with Web 3.0 over the next 5, 10, 15 years. This is where it all starts making sense as to where we are headed in terms of asset prices, as well as how you can position yourself just by being in the right conversations. I'm definitely not saying you should buy Bitcoin, you should buy Ethereum, none of that. What I want to focus on is what I am seeing in crypto and how we can learn about this new asset class that is building out and why so many big companies are moving into the space. So a couple of thoughts around the actual convention itself, and then we'll go into some of the learnings. Now, the thing is, this was the first time it was run at this scale. It was massive. And when I spoke to some of the guys that were there from 2015 to 2017 in crypto, they were like, I can't believe this day has actually come, because we were a bunch of nerds sitting there coding and looking at how to buy Bitcoin. And now we are in a room with like 4,000 or 5,000 people talking about the same things. Now, to some of you guys, that may seem like it's absolutely nothing, but to me, that was very powerful. It's very interesting to see how new technology comes into the space, how we can actually learn from it, and ultimately why you follow this channel is to see how you can benefit from making a shitload of money. Now, yes, at the end of the day, you could get lucky, pick one coin that goes to the moon, take out some money, and yes, live financially free. But what we're trying to do is learn practical steps to get there. We want to be very deliberate about how we achieve financial freedom. And if you know how I advocate for balance, if that's something that you actually enjoy, then smash that like button. Now, because it was run at such scale, there was always going to be issues. There were going to be logistical nightmares, and that's exactly what happened. It took about an hour to an hour and a half just to enter the venue because the line was so long. In terms of how they were doing ticketing, I mean, I'm not sure why you wouldn't have it digitalized. They were actually going through and finding each person's name physically. Now, that's going to cause a nightmare, and that's exactly what happened. But if you could get past that and actually enter the hall, it was actually crazy. Now, I'm going to have some clips just pop up here on the screen so you can just see the scale at what we were experiencing. I've never seen anything like it, especially for something like crypto. I've seen plenty of real estate conventions, and again, everyone's just shilling and selling you some bullshit off the plan apartment. But here it was different. It was all about networking. It was about understanding what people were doing. And at the real core of it, people were just trying to seek connection. You sometimes find yourself amongst your friend circle where only one person's interested in something and the rest aren't really interested. To come to a place where everyone was talking about a similar thing, learning from each other, it was phenomenal. Another quite obvious fact from the convention was the amount of females relative to males at this thing. Now, obviously we know, and I can see from my analytics as well, there's a lot more guys that view this channel as well as get involved in crypto versus females. But what's surprising is when I was speaking to a few people that were there and have been OGs of the space, they were very happy to see more females.
I mean, apart from the obvious fact.
But they were more so happy because it was now diversifying. And that leads me to one of my biggest learnings from the actual convention. And it's that NFTs and the metaverse, although sound like buzz terms and 99% of it is going to go to zero, is actually a very easy way to get people involved. And I'm talking about new people. Let me explain. You see, when someone comes out and talks about the ETH merge and how it's going to become more efficient, and then you've got sharding, and then you've got things like Bitcoin and how there's halving cycles and there's a hash rate, again, you're totally zoned out there. That's exactly what happens with most people when I talk to them about crypto. Now, what all of the exchanges that were there, as well as all the projects that were there, were really advocating for was to grow the entire space. It wasn't, hey, use my exchange or use my exchange because we're better than everyone. It was more so about going, how do we onboard as many people as possible? Because we're so early and there is such a unique opportunity for people that actually want to take advantage. Now, I'm sure there's going to be people that come back to this video in about a year's time going,
shit, I should have probably listened and actually did this.
But they haven't watched all the way through. If you're one of those people during a time where there's a bear market and nobody likes crypto, there were people rocking up to this thing and it was packed. Some of the keynote speeches, you couldn't even get a seat at, and I had to stand towards the back just to be able to listen to whoever was speaking. That is actually crazy because I didn't think that many people would rock up. Now, why I say NFTs and metaverse might be the entry point for a lot of people is because it's so much easier to understand. And when you're looking at onboarding females particularly, there's projects that are led by females for females, as well as empowering other females. Now, I know I'm just focusing on one segment of the market, but when you start applying it to crypto gaming, things like metaverse land, yes, again, I totally understand that most of it's going to go to zero and it sounds like a Ponzi scheme, but the reality is that could be the trigger that allows someone to enter this universe. They go in and they say, hey, that looks pretty cool, and then they find their way to actual assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum and what it actually means to be ahead of the curve. Now, I expect a lot of people are sort of going to disregard how big this actually is, but when I was there in the flesh talking to people, it gave me so much more confidence in the space that it doesn't matter if it's just a 5x or 10x in terms of money, but I totally believe with conviction this entire space is going to grow by at least 10x. And I'm not just talking about Bitcoin's price, I'm talking about the amount of people and the rate of adoption that's going to be there is what makes me so bullish, or at least very positive about the entire space. Now, as you guys know, I partnered with Binance to go on this trip, but the reason I partner with them is because they have the lowest fees. They've got the highest liquidity and the most cryptocurrencies on their exchange for you to actually purchase here in Australia. If you use the link in the description below and my code, you'll actually get a sign-on bonus for up to 100 USD. So it's a perfect way to get started. And again, it's free to sign up and very easy to set up. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you're new to Binance, go check out this video, which is a step-by-step tutorial after this video. Now, there were more than 4 or 5 exchanges there, and I spoke to all of them. What was happening in the Australian market when it came to onboarding new people? Are people buying? Are people not buying? And what I found was very interesting. What all the exchanges had in common was that trading volume was lower, and that's pretty obvious because prices are down. But what's more interesting was that the onboarding numbers were increasing. There were more and more people signing up to these exchanges to get prepared for what might come. Now, the thing is, cycles pretty much play out the same. And if we look at how history has proven itself, we're pretty much entering a period of accumulation and possibly the bear market lows. Now, I talk about this in great detail about how to position yourself to actually go and be ahead of the curve this time. And you can check out that video here, exactly when I'm buying. But again, it's not financial advice. It's about how you understand crypto cycles in relation to real estate cycles as well as economic cycles. Now, I did say that we were going to talk about real estate in this video, and I definitely am. And it's because when I spoke to some people that were out there, they're talking about the tokenization of real estate. In very simple terms, what that means is having an asset like real estate, a property that you cannot purchase by yourself, you actually have that property broken down into tokens. And the property lives on a blockchain, and you're able to actually go in and purchase parts of the actual property. Now, if you're confused, it's okay, because when it's a new concept like this, it takes some time to understand. And trust me, it took me some time as well. But when I looked at their model, as well as what could be potentially happening in the industry, whether it's in the US or here in Australia, it is very, very exciting. And especially for those who hold real estate. I see a lot of people talk about, oh, Bitcoin's the best, or Ethereum's the best, or crypto is better than traditional finance, or decentralized finance is better than one or the other. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What you're here to do is find financial freedom for yourself and for your family. That's exactly what I'm doing. Now, there's of course going to be assets that I resonate with more, but I'm definitely someone who regrets not having come into this space earlier to understand and learn. I, much like yourself, have probably gone through a video like this and said,
yeah, I probably won't do it.
I urge you, get involved. And it might just be as easy as signing up, setting up an account, and then actually being able to invest when you can over the next year or 2 years. The way we think about real estate, the way we think about mortgages, and how that process of settlement actually happens is going to be changed forever in the next 10 to 15 years. Now, why do I say 10 to 15 despite the technology being available today? Well, it's because generally when you're looking at big industries that have been around for a while, it takes a lot of work and a lot of patience to move people across. I remember when I was doing property conveyancing and they started introducing online settlements, it took so long for some of the older guys in the space to actually go and have the infrastructure to do something like that. In this case, we're going to see the same thing. But what this means is that people have the opportunity later to get part of a property. You see, I say part of a property, not the entire thing. And that's because asset prices, the way they've been increasing, as well as how we've seen inflation kill the dollar and the middle class, we're headed to an environment where you've heard the concept of owning nothing and you'll be happy is definitely in play. I urge you guys all to actually have these conversations with people around you. If you're someone that's interested about these sort of things, I talk about this stuff in Patreon, which again, you can find a link in the description below. But if you're new and you don't have anyone in your circle talking about this sort of stuff, YouTube is fantastic. Block out the white noise, people saying prices are going up, prices are going down, the recession's here, the whole world's collapsing. Forget about that shit. What you need to focus on is how you get your mindset right to be actually dollar cost averaging, building your positions and assets, because ultimately that is what will allow you financial freedom and moving forward more choice. The final point I will make is that yes, we are definitely not super early anymore, because that period of this industry has gone, but we are definitely still early adopters. And if you were an early adopter when you had big tech giants starting up like Google, like Amazon, like Netflix, you would have made a lot more money over the last 10 years. What we have right now is generational wealth opportunities. And if you're not in the right conversations, you're gonna lose out. I hope you guys understand how big of a deal this actually is. It was so interesting seeing it in flesh, seeing people, real people talk about this stuff, both females and males. And what's exciting is what happens over the next 12 months or 24 months and how the adoption actually increases. I am super excited and I hope you take that chance to take action. If it's $10 of Bitcoin, if it's $1,000, whatever's in line with your risk appetite as well as strategy to understand this space is only going to help you over the next period of time. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and my learnings. If you guys have, smash that like button. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button and then have a little tickle of that notification bell. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks guys.